to the unofficial Disney Tonight Show podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome my dear friend, your host, Mr. David Studebaker.
Thank you, Danny. I feel like we need one of like a that was good. That was beautiful. Thank you. Welcome to the unofficial Disney Tonight Show. I am, as Danny Hawawini said, David Studebaker. Now, you'll notice it was Danny Hawawini and not our usual announcer, James Creviston. James Creviston has a stand-up gig, and you'll also notice Jake Taylor's not there. He doesn't have a calendar. He forgot that we were recording, and he had something else.
He doesn't have a stand-up gig.
Yeah, and then Mando. She was all ready to rock, and then a giant storm hit her town in Florida, and a lightning bolt took out the internet tower by her. So she's got no power, no internet. She's gone. So stay safe, Mando. But yeah, other than that, we're all alive. This is a dangerous show to be on. But I think the reason why it happened is because our guest today has so much charisma, so much hot fire, so much comedic and Disney power that you had to shave off a few of the producers in order to fully handle him. So we have with us today, he's an amazing comedian. He was on See Your Voice on Fox. He headlines comedy clubs across the U.S. He's a Buzzfeed contributor, including Disney content for Buzzfeed. And he is Luke Lacoy's dear friend. They are best friends, I would say. So we are going to welcome in Erik Escobar. Welcome in, buddy. Thank you for being here.
Hello. Hi. Oh, my Lord. Of all the things you just said, I love being Luke Lacoy's best friend the most. That is the best credit. Also, for the record, I was the one who took out the internet tower. I want more screen time. All right. I'm just trying to take out every host where we can, get all that Erik goodness in there.
I love it. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. And Luke Lacoy is here. Luke Lacoy was on Danny's episode, was not there, and then Danny wasn't there for trivia night. So now Luke Lacoy and Danny Hawawini are both here together. It's a beautiful thing. Now, Luke, tell me, because you and Erik have such a strong connection, how often do you guys cuddle together and hang out?
Oh, we grew up together in the mean streets of Canada. We shared a teat even. It was we go that far back.
It was Luke's dad's teat. It was beautiful.
Yeah.
A wonderful guy. And answer your question 3 times a day for the cuddling.
Yeah. Usually I am the one who books most of our guests. But this gentleman, I've heard so many great things about Erik Escobar from Luke. So Luke, you take over because, I mean, listen, I'm ready to meet, basically, from what I hear, a fusion of Dave Chappelle and Walt Disney coming together in one human being. So, Luke, talk about your guy, Erik.
Yeah, so I want to give Erik a little backstory because this is actually the first time that we're meeting.
Other than the teat. This is the first time.
That was a long time ago.
Years.
Yeah.
Yeah, at least 4 weeks.
So I formally met, well, not formally, but I unofficially met Erik through Instagram.
It was formal at a cotillion.
But before Instagram, I went to Second City with Nick Bradfield. And so I went through the whole improv program with him. And I think that was before he even he started doing stand-up. And so I was following Nick's Instagram, and every time he would travel to a show, Erik would be the headliner of their group. And so I've been following you for a little bit, not in a, James Creviston stalker way, but just
watch the Clean Comedy podcast. You'll understand the reference.
Luke is doing this podcast from right outside my garage. I can hear his voice right now. He's been following for 2 weeks, and I've been loving every minute. It's been great.
And lest you think that Luke is being mean to James, James is a self-described stalker of comedians. So Yes, continue.
Yeah, he's creeped some of the comedians out, and I think they don't want to come back on the show because of it. But so Erik, what have you been up to lately other than hanging out with Carrot Top at the airport?
Oh my Lord. I did hang out with Carrot Top at the airport yesterday, and it was so weird. It was so great. It was exactly what you'd expect meeting Carrot Top would be like. It was wonderful. But it was crazy because we actually met at the Orlando airport when I was flying back to LA from some gigs in Orlando. And when I was in Orlando, I'm sorry to be cheating on Disney. I'm sorry, baby. But I spent 3 days at Universal Orlando.
Oh no.
It was
Too
a
many.
thrill. It was so great. I actually did some gigs in Orlando, I want to say in March or April, and I bought like a 2-day, 3-day ticket thing, and it was $1 more to get a pass. So I just ended up going for a pass, going for it. I was going to do the same with Disney, but it was $5 billion for more
Yeah,
pass.
right.
So I didn't go for that. Didn't have the funds. But yeah, things have been great, but mostly just like been on the road for comedy. Very, very grateful for it in this strange, odd time we're living in. And yeah, just kind of living my best life, telling the jokes, going to theme parks. Yeah, happy, great, wonderful times.
And I would assume by how much great energy and time to go to theme parks. Do you have kids? Do you have any kids?
0 kids.
Okay,
0
see,
kids.
that makes sense.
Which I don't
Yeah,
know
you
if
just-
that makes it more creepy or less
No,
creepy.
no,
but
not-
with this
hey, listen.
beard.
No, this
Yeah.
is
Great
an
beard.
adult Disney show. I am all about going, but it's more that both Danny and I have toddlers, and Luke has his wife is pregnant, so we just walk through life exhausted. And
Amen.
theme parks, still love going to Disneyland, but it's I can't just like pop over. It's got to be planned. There's got to be a lot going on. And then like if I were like when I'm on the road doing gigs, let's say I'm in Orlando, if I go without them, very controversial. So the fact that you have the freedom, you can just be like, yeah, I'm just going to do 3 days at Universal. Enjoy it.
Well,
Enjoy
I
it.
do want to say, God bless all of you. God bless every ounce of your soul. Because honestly, being a parent is, it's a tough, tough gig. You love that kid. You want to do everything for that kid. But, it's a lot. They're kids. And I've gone to Universal or Disneyland or a Disney World park, and through single rider and just kind of being by myself, I'll knock out the park by noon. It'll be great. And then I'll go with my friend who has, kids, or, I'm watching over my niece or my nephew, going with them. And I'm like, great, we just went on 2 attractions. It's 5 p.m. We got here yesterday. These are a lot of diapers, a lot of bathroom breaks. It's okay, buddy. It's okay. Just let's go on Pirates for the 10th time. That is a short one.
Well, and I will also say for the audio, for the listeners, Erik has completed me because I love both Disneyland and DCA, but I have my Disneyland background, and he has Disney California Adventure as his background, and a very unique night sky, very classy, very beautiful. He has a very incredible Disney sweater. There's a lot going on that Erik's bringing to the table, and Danny Hawawini also with a fabulous Mandalorian shirt. And
I'm
a
pretty
Star
sure
Wars
Luke
backdrop,
is in
so.
a Imagineering office.
Yeah.
I think Luke he has an
Luke.
Imagineer's office background. That's a deep cut, Luke. That's a good one. I love it.
I brought some. There we go.
You bought, that's the
Oh.
same shirt I have. You remember that's I have that shirt, right?
I got it from your closet.
Okay. That's great.
He got his
We
underwear from mine. He really is stalking me. It's very
Should I
scary.
go change into it, or we'll do it next time? We'll coordinate. You let me know, Luke. You let me know. I'm hurt.
I want to tell a quick story about this sweater, though, if I don't mind.
Yes, please.
So I rarely get to wear cool Disney gear on like cool podcasts like this one, cool stuff. So when I have the opportunity, I want to wear it. And this is my favorite Disney sweater. It's a Disney Crew / WCW sweater. A little crossover. Big wrestling fan.
They
Super
used to
cool.
shoot at Disney
I
World.
was wondering if that
So
was
it's like a
coincidence.
combo package. I'm wearing a lot.
Wow.
But I bought this when I was like 300 pounds. It's a 3XL. I lost like 110. I'm now 190.
Congratulations.
This is a dress on me. It's a freaking dress. It's beautiful. I should go to the cotillion ball with it. but I wanted to wear it to bring some Disney pride to the table.
Wow, that is as a fan of wrestling in the 90s, that is absolutely stellar. And so let's transition, because we are going to get to very soon. We're going to get to some very inner Disney questions with Erik. But first, Luke, you take it over with the backstory with the Fox show. Can you talk here? You're supposed to jump in here, buddy.
So yeah, Erik was on See Your Voice, and he gave, I thought, truly a moving, remarkable performance. And I was interested in Erik letting us know, like, what kind of the backstory on that performance
and the show itself.
And, yeah,
it was definitely a moving performance that had audience. They moved away from their TV screens as fast as possible. I think when I was on, it was really a lot of power and effort and passion. But it was a great show called I Can See Your Voice. I think they're doing second season pretty soon. It was on Fox. I want to say it might have been like a package deal with like The Masked Singer and a couple of those other shows, and they brought him over from Korea. But it got big in Korea, got big in the Philippines, got big in Thailand. They brought it over here. And the whole concept is you have a panel of celebrity, not judges, but like, celebrity-ish. I will say it was definitely, I was like, oh, I think I could probably go to a party with you. I still can't. All right, I'm still not on the list. It's crazy because the contestant basically works with these celebrities to figure out if these 6 weird, like mysterious singers can sing or not sing. So we never sing for the contestant, but we'll do a lip sync battle. We'll do an interview. We'll do like a pre-recorded thing where they mask our voice. So they have no idea if it's actually our voice or not. And basically through all these wonderful obstacles, they have to figure out if we're good or bad. They bet a ton of money on if we're good or bad. And then so much tension comes onto the stage when we have to walk up there and they hear our first line and are like, am I making $20,000 or am I not paying rent and are my kids hungry again for another month? So it was great. Can I spoil it? I'm going to spoil it. Spoiler alert. I was one of the bad singers. And we actually were supposed to shoot. No, watch the episode. Please give me a 1-cent royalty. I feel like we were supposed to shoot last March, and our shoot date was actually March 24th. And then COVID hit probably late teens in March, 17, 18 or whatever. So we weren't sure if the show was still going. We ended up bringing back the show, and I shot last August. And it was wild because due to COVID restrictions, we could only shoot for like 10 minutes at a time because you could only have your mask off for 10 minutes. We did it for no audience. And then they actually spliced in an audience. They edited one in for the actual show. So it was a great experience. I loved it. It was amazing. I'm so grateful to be a part, but it was definitely very surreal to be kind of like a weird, like Black Mirror type of filming show.
Yeah, definitely.
Wild.
Yeah. And so what was the song that you sang on there that revealed that you were not a good singer?
I sang Alone by Heart, which if you look at me right now, you can tell by my visual and the way I kind of give off my vibe. Definitely a big Heart fan. I don't know if everyone knows that. Definitely my look, this beard, this angry bald head screams Heart. So that was the one I did. And it was crazy because we actually had vocal and choreography coaching to make us worse.
Oh, wow.
So you would go in and they're like, you know what? You're dancing a little too good. Dance worse. You are singing badly, but you're hitting a note. You're on rhythm. Do less of that. And it was so strange to be in a scenario where it's like almost like singing off beat or singing off tune when no one's ever really practiced that. You know what I mean? It was very strange.
That is great. Yeah. And I mean, Alone by Heart, that's an easy song to destroy. I mean, you can really, the high notes in that are very tough. And so now, Luke, you come on, Luke, jump in, because there was follow-up questions that you're supposed to ask that I'm now fumbling to ask, and I'm looking like a bad host. Erik is judging me. He hasn't followed me back on Instagram. You're making me feel terrible, Luke. Get in there.
Luke, you're in an Imagineering office. I know you're busy. You're working on the next big attraction.
I am, and it's going to involve Erik and Danny and David, and it's going to be the biggest ride yet to DCA.
Evolution of facial hair.
Luke just set this up as he's just eating popcorn and just loving me squirm. Like, is Luke gonna ask the question? Am I gonna?
So when they brought you on to the show, you were dressed as a prison guard.
Yes.
And under the false pretense that I think that you give singing lessons at the prison. But then you come out, you hit all the wrong notes, and then then we get to hear like actually what you do, and you do have some capacity in the prison, but it was actually a very different reason, and I'd love for you to take it away.
Totally. So for a lot of these shows, it's weird because you're kind of like not allowed to lie. You know what I mean? Like if you dress up as, I don't know, like a ice cream salesperson, and they're like, are you actually an ice cream person? And you're like, no, it like goes against like bylaws. I don't understand it. All weird industry stuff. But originally they were trying to think of a character for me, and they're like, well, what do you do? And I was like, oh, well, I like theater. I used to do theater in college, did in high school. So my whole thing was I was going to be like this rocker theater guy, like this guy who did theater, but now he's like a rock guy, and that's his jam. And I guess when COVID hit everything, some of the singers that were supposed to be on, they had to leave because they were either, a little more COVID cautious, they weren't comfortable with the thing, or whatever it was, maybe they couldn't make it, maybe they caught it. But long story short, they were like, we just got someone else in who has your exact same character. We need to change your character. And I'm like, well, why can't they change theirs? Why are you changing? Well, okay, that's fine. But they were like, well, what do you do? And I was like, well, I'm a comedian. They're like, well, I want to do a comedian thing. They're like, give me other jobs. And for years, I actually worked teaching improv to kids in juvenile hall. So we ran writing workshops where we'd go into these detention camps. We'd have these kids write a wonderful one-act play, about 10 weeks, one-act play. And then we would have celebrities come in and actually do a stage reading of their work to show them, like, oh, this is like something like, really fun. This is how it's done in Hollywood. It's fun, like, blah, blah. And then the next 10 weeks, we actually take the script from the prior group and we bring in costumers, we bring in lighting, we bring in makeup, we bring in prop people. And then they actually get on their feet and perform this play for their community. And it's one of the most it's a huge honor to have this gig because for me, I think improv, performance, theater really gave me a lot of confidence. I didn't really have a strong identity when I was a kid. We were all awkward. We didn't know what to do, didn't know who I was. And through finding the arts, I really was kind of enlightened to the fact like, oh, I could do something on stage and make people happy. I could write a joke and it gets people excited. I could do improv and it makes people laugh. And seeing these kids who are often in these situations because they never had a sense of community, whether, they didn't have a parent figure, they didn't have either parent, they didn't have community, so they joined a gang to find that community or whatever it may be. A lot of these kids don't even realize like they're funny and they're great and they have amazing talent and amazing potential. But see them put that on the page and perform it. It's one of the most rewarding, incredible jobs in the whole world.
That's beautiful.
Man, Erik, fantastic.
Yeah.
These kids are fantastic. I'm just trying to make sure they don't stab each other.
Danny, do you have a question for Erik?
So, David is more of the kind of classic Disney fandom, and I'm sure he'll want to, hear more generally speaking, but for me, what I'm curious about are kind of the more, I guess, acquired properties, the Star Wars, the Marvel, stuff like that. That's where I, come in pretty strong. So I've got to know from you. I'm gonna ask you on both right now. Star Wars question first, and cool. Erik, no pressure. Star Wars fans notoriously chill. All right. But what is your favorite Star Wars movie and what is your least favorite Star Wars movie?
I'm going to go favorite. Could I go with a property opposed to an actual film?
Go on. Maybe. Sure.
I'm a big fan, which might add to this. But one WWE Women's Champion, Sasha Banks, is actually a character in the Mandalorian series. And to be honest, I know it's new, I know it's fresh, I know it's not exactly a film, but I love The Mandalorian. I think it's wonderful. As a Star Wars, maybe somewhat of a Star Wars novice, I enjoy it, I appreciate it, I keep up, but I'm not like super hard into it. I feel like a lot of the Star Wars films are fun and exciting and great, but Mandalorian was so palatable. As someone who could walk in knowing almost, nothing and just getting the base story kind of, in my brain, this was something I could jump into, have a great time with. The people who see the little nods and see the little Easter eggs love it even more. But even if you don't see them, it's 10 out of 10.
Yeah. And for what it's worth, if I were to kill my virtual background here for a second, you'll see my boy Grogu hanging out in the office with me. So, I'm also a fan.
And Danny, again, for the listeners, Danny has a shirt on called the Dadalorian.
That's right.
And what does it say? It's hard to.
This is going to be like a dad, just way cooler. See, also handsome and exceptional. It was a gift. But
it was you didn't buy that for yourself.
Worst Star Wars film, in my opinion.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would have to go with. So I didn't watch the Star Wars movies for a long time, and then I watched them all in chronological order. And I would say the weakest of that marathon was probably Clone Wars.
I agree with Erik. I always would say Clone Wars. Totally agree. Just the dialogue alone, because when you can make Samuel L. Jackson seem like a bad actor, that's bad. That's terrible dialogue. You know what? Let's dive in here. Let's get back on track.
Let's dive.
So you've done now. Luke's okay. You know what, Luke? Jump in. Ask about the Buzzfeed.
Oh, okay. The Buzzfeed.
The Buzzfeed.
I've heard of
the
it.
Buzzfeed. Yeah.
What is it?
To be fair, we're not talking about BuzzFeed right now. We're just talking about the BuzzFeed, the main
BuzzFeed,
one.
yeah,
All right.
BuzzFeed, yeah.
It has the copyright. We're good.
Yeah.
I've been working with BuzzFeed for a minute. Very grateful for everything that I've gotten to do with them. I actually started working with them because I was part of an improv team for a while, where a lot of the people at our improv theater just happened to work with BuzzFeed. So, they need an extra here and there. Eventually, they needed more of a speaking role person. I think the thing that really popped me off is I'm one of the hi guys. This is an adult Disney podcast.
Yeah,
So
you're
kids,
good.
we're talking about sugar. I love smoking sugar. I feel like I got real lucky because I got to be a part of the Hi Guys series. I started with the Hi Guys eat the whole Taco Bell menu, and ironically enough, I was working at Disneyland at the time. I was working on a Toy Story Mania. I had an off day, and I had some friends from Hawaii in town. So I actually shot this Hi Guys all-you-can-eat Taco Bell video. Right after the shoot, they picked me up, and I signed them into Disneyland. You know what sucks at Disneyland? Being super baked with 8 of Taco Bell inside of you. You don't want a coaster with 17 chalupas in your belly. And that's what I did. Never again. Never again, my friends.
The sugar crash, right, kids?
Yeah.
The sugar crash. I baked the sugar and then I ate 17 chalupas. They really rev up your appetite.
That does not sound like a good experience. Also, kind of full circle a little bit, because one of our previous guests was Mindy Rickles, the daughter of Don Rickles, and she talked about the experience of Don doing the voice for Mr. Potato Head, like for the actual the ride, and just kind of how much that ride meant to him and her and the family and how cool it was. So I mean, worlds coming together.
Something that I want to share, and I hope I don't get sued for sharing this information. We'll see. It's worth it. I love podcasts.
Exclusive.
But you know how the Potato Head can talk to you? So if you go up, he'll be like, "Oh, kid in the red shirt. Oh, guy in the hat. Lady in the backpack." So we actually have it's a cool rotation that we have. We can be Mr. Potato Head for half an hour, and there's all these pre-recorded things. So you're actually watching the kids and being like, "Oh, hey, you in the blue shirt. Hey, you in the purple shirt." And my favorite thing to do is on that soundboard, we had laugh 1 and we had laugh 2. And I would just play laugh 1, laugh 2, laugh 1, laugh 2, laugh 1, laugh 2 for like 10 minutes. I should have gotten fired, but it was great because these kids would go up and be like, "Hey, Mr. Potato Head," and he'd be like, "Hi." Oh, 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 oh. And these kids would be so confused. I made sure they didn't cry, but they definitely were a little traumatized. I don't know if they like laughter anymore. Is that the goal of a cast member? I'm pretty sure it is.
Yeah, you did your job. You did your job. So did you do any Disney related stuff for BuzzFeed?
I have actually. They hit me up for this really, really cool project where they were doing a video about secrets at the park. So any Disney secrets. And I liked it. But the crazy thing about it is I felt like all the secrets were kind of things that are like sort of ish known in the Disney community already. Like we talked about how there's a bunch of cats. There's cats all over Disney. There's a billion cats. There was problem in the 50s. They brought in some cats. All the cats Hakuna Matata. Boom. Now there's a ton of cats.
Yeah, that's an open secret. That's an open
There are hidden Mickeys, guys. Did you know that?
What? Secret ride called Splash Mountain. I don't know if you know about it, but there's a ride over there. Haunted Mansion. It's in the back, but if you know about it. We also talked about the basketball court in Matterhorn.
Oh yeah.
Which is always a fun rumor. Have you guys seen pictures? Are you guys?
I have. I've seen video.
Yeah, I've seen pictures.
And I believe in the Imagineering documentary on Disney Plus, they showed Bob Gurr shooting hoops for a little bit in there.
Oh, sweet. Yeah. It's like a little half court, just a little hoop, but it's fun.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah.
Wasn't the reason for that specifically like because of like zoning laws, basically, right? Like to be a certain height, it had to be like a sporting event or a sporting arena or something. So they're like, well, it's got a basketball court, so it's now a sporting arena. And they're like, great, it can be that tall. Like, wasn't it something like that?
The story I heard was back in the day when they had like the yodelers like climb it, it would get hot. So they'd be like, oh, don't climb this giant mountain right now. So to pass the time, they would hang out inside, and instead of just being bored, they were like, oh, let's put up a hoop or whatever. So it was kind of for those guys. I actually heard a crazy story recently. I'm not sure the validity of it, but do you know why the Matterhorn was created at Disneyland? Like why it is an attraction where it is? So apparently Walt, the typical story is Walt went to, the Alps or whatever, saw it, and they were like, oh, take it. But apparently that area of the park was actually it was a hill, or it was some type of like foresty terrain where you can kind of hide out. And there were places where you can kind of just like be alone. And too many high schools were going on this hill where it was more like hidden and like making out and touching parts and doing mouth stuff. So you need to do something with this area because too many kids are like getting into naughtiness. So like, well, let's put a ride there. Well, if we're going to put a ride there, if it's going to be a fun attraction, let's put a giant mountain where no one can make out.
Wow, that's good. That's good knowledge. They should have done that. That is the funny thing though about the BuzzFeed thing you did, because it's so hard, it's kind of gauging the general public's knowledge versus like the Disney community's knowledge. That is because the things that you already have said, like the first couple of things, to just like your average person who's just scrolling through BuzzFeed will be like, oh, really? I didn't know that. That's really cool. But then, how much do you weigh that versus you got to come up with like the kids making out, in the forest to have something where we're like, oh, wow, that's that is
legitimately interesting.
Yeah.
Everyone who works at Disneyland, or most people who work at Disneyland, they're all Disney fans. So you kind of come in, and then it's not just like, oh, we're all fans of this thing. You almost like try to one up each other on it. You know what I mean? The Doritos were invented at this place because Disney thing. And then eventually you just start like, all right, I need to know more so I can like compete more. And it becomes this giant like ball rolling effect, like Indiana Jones style of like, I need to know everything and I need to say everything. And some of these people are brilliant. They're like weird savants of Disney knowledge.
Yeah, no. And actually, also on the cast member front, I have a question for you, because I just read a story of a guy who he was a cast member back in like the 60s, but I don't know if they still do Disneyland University when they're training you?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's cool. They have a program called Traditions that I really enjoy, and they just basically give you like the history of Disney and like why things are the way they are. Concepts that Walt, had that still go down today. And so that's part of Disney University. And then also Disney University has this really cool program where I want to say for a semester, you can enter the Disney College program through Disney University and get a semester worth of work. You know, they like give you like lower rent. They like put you up somewhere, you know, you work there, it's whatever. But you also can take classes at Disney University that go toward your school's whatever.
Awesome.
So
Oh, yeah.
instead of $6,000 for, you know, 4 units of business, you can actually like take it at Disney, from what I understand, and like
That's super
it's a cool class.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And I asked that because I heard a really funny story that in Disneyland University, they discouraged sarcasm with the guests. And the story the teacher told was the teacher, this back like probably late 50s, early 60s, that a couple from a family from Kansas asked a Jungle Cruise cast member how long the ride is, how long it takes to go on ride. And he goes, oh, about 3 days. And they go, oh no. And so they leave the queue and they run back to the Disneyland hotel, and they come back like an hour later with all of their bags and all of their belongings. And they're like, okay, we're ready for the 3-day cruise. And they were totally said, no, I promise you.
Just to that point, I feel like if you ask anyone on Jungle Cruise, or even anyone like the bad guys working on Rise of the Resistance, the one inside, like they're supposed to be mean, supposed to be sarcastic. Like you kind of gotta. That's part of. All right, that's on you, Mr. Kansas man family. I will say I had a lot of questions along the lines of like, oh, when is the 925 fireworks? You know what I mean?
There you go.
I can't tell you how many times people would ask me where attractions are, where we're right next to the attraction. You know what I mean? It's a little like, you don't want to be mean. You don't want to be mean, but you kind of like 5 feet. It's here. You're here. And they're like, oh, you're like, no, you're actually going on.
Found it.
Sometimes people think you're being sarcastic. You know what I mean? Like, oh, can I get 2 churros in a water? Sure, that'll be $15. Oh, all right. How much? And you're I'm not being mean. I'm very serious. You probably don't want the caramel dip. Do you? No chocolate dip? Extra 50 cents? No, fine.
That's great. So now, Erik, this is what we usually do with our special guests. And we didn't do it with Danny. So Danny, you're going to join in as well. We had a lot to cover. You know, the inside the actor studio. You have an acting background. You understand. So you know, the great James Lipton would end the show with the Pivo questions. So you know, like what turns you on, what's your favorite word, all that stuff. So we like to end the show.
Walt Disney for both.
Yeah, exactly. We like to end the show with doing kind of a Disney version of the Pivo questions. So,
I love it.
So we're gonna do that. But Luke, before I jump in, do you have any questions for Erik? You'll notice, Luke, I've just started taking control again. Did you notice how it happened?
And it's been flowing so much better since then.
Come on, AI, just shoot, man. Step over someone.
A word on the street is that Erik might have some Disney related tattoos.
Oh,
I got 3 Disney related tattoos. So let's talk about it. Oh, what a thrill. I love this podcast. The first big tattoo I ever got was, are you guys familiar with the game BioShock?
yes.
So BioShock, it's a great game. I think it was a PS2 game. I played it on PS3. Probably one of my favorite games in the whole world. I love the BioShock series. It's great. So I have a tattoo of a skin tear where a big daddy is kind of coming out of the back of my calf and a little sister is walking with him. So while I was getting this tattoo, you know, pretty early, like hour 1 or whatever, he was like, oh, like, do you want the little sister to be holding, like, she has like this thing where she takes Adam. It's like a big needle. And I'm like, oh yeah, that'd be cool. And then he was like, oh, you want to put like a little balloon in there? You know, kind of a cute balloon. I'm like, yeah, but I used to work selling balloons at Disneyland. Can you make it a Mickey balloon?
Yeah.
So it's crazy. And you wouldn't see it unless you like got up close or I told you about it.
but it's this big, crazy, big daddy monster coming out of my skin. This little girl coming after him, and right in the middle is a little Mickey Mouse balloon, which
That's fantastic.
I was like,
really proud of.
right there. That's great.
That is fantastic.
I also have I have a lot of Friday the 13th tattoos. So I get a tattoo every state I perform in. So I'm about I just got 20, so I'm just at 20 states, and I get a tattoo every Friday the 13th, or since I've been getting tattoos, so probably since about 2011. And yeah, I got a Friday the 13th tattoo where it's the two Mickey hands kind of coming together to make the heart with the gloves.
Yep.
So that's really cute. I like it a lot.
Yeah.
And my tattoo, which is probably the one I can show right now. Y'all want to? Let's see a tattoo.
Yeah, let's do it.
Oh,
I don't
sorry,
know how
Spotify viewers.
but if we can see this little monster, this guy right here.
Oh.
Do you guys know what this guy is from? A little bit of a deep cut. A little bit of a deep cut.
Was that like a never-ending story thing?
Oh man, that Mulan, is that from Mulan?
Close. It is
The remake of Mulan.
the Yeti on the Yeti mural on Expedition Everest.
Wow.
Wow.
That is
Very deep cut.
wow. Okay, that's strong.
Expedition Everest is probably one of my favorite Disney coasters. I love that ride so much. So I was in Disneyland, and then right after Disneyland, I was actually shooting something in Tennessee. And while I was in Tennessee, I was like, I don't have a Tennessee tattoo yet. Let me get something there. And he was like, well, what do you want? I'm like, I don't, whatever you want to do. I'm kind of not too picky. And then he's like, well, you know, what's something that you did recently that you want to have a memory of? And I'm like, Disneyland. He's like, well, what ride? I'm like, Expedition Everest. So we looked it up, and yeah, on the mural, there's that. And now it's on me.
Wow. That definitely, at least that should get you a free, one of the nicer Walt Disney World hotels, and at least 3 days of tickets. I think minimum, that's what that deserves, right? Am I
I would
right
hope
about that?
that's about the cruise. No, I think that's the length of a jungle cruise. I can do one ride the whole time I'm there.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's perfect.
Yeah, one jungle cruise, one circle on the jungle cruise.
I love it.
Yeah. No, that's incredible. Let's give a round of applause for Erik's incredible tattoo work. That
Yeah,
is,
You know what? I think we got some new trivia questions for the next one.
Next time we do a trivia night, you will be there will be some strong Erik Escobar tattoo questions for the viewers to have to answer.
You know, I just got to know. This could be another kind of hot take situation, but in the Marvel verse, who is your favorite superhero?
Hulk, hands down.
Related? Is that something related to like the ideal superpower you would like to have, or is there
Erik
something
has anger
specific?
issues. What he's saying is Erik
Yeah.
has anger issues.
Yeah, I love the way he handles his depression, his rage issues.
If there's one thing that you've taken from this podcast, I'm a very angry guy.
He's a
Love that.
hateful man. He's a hateful man. I've been uncomfortable this whole time with the level of just anger and just vindictiveness that you've brought to the table.
Stop smashing,
It's
Erik.
really,
I
it's
apologize.
hurtful.
Sorry. I love you all. Is that? Oh, am I too angry? Again. I think Hulk is just cool. I've always been very drawn to him since I was a kid. My favorite color is green. I think everyone who has a more magical power, it's kind of cool, but it's like Hulk is just brute strength. You know what I mean? Like, and he's not even like cool, like even like a DC, like a Batman, or like he's not even like thinking things through. It's not like his power's like, oh, I'm smart. It's like, no, you're just strong and angry and just real. He's so sincere. He's the sincerest superhero.
Right.
And I just think he's cool. And I also think there's like a beautiful story behind, like, I think there's a lot of superheroes who feel like they want to be superheroes or they need to be superheroes. They find some type of attraction to saving the world. Hulk is like, he doesn't want to do this. Like, he's very not about the role, but it's kind of given to him, and he kind of just is like, all right, I guess I gotta.
Yeah. I guess I'm an Avenger.
Yeah, and also I will say that I know this might be a little taboo, but I just got back from Orlando. Said I went to Universal for 3 days, and if you have not been on the Hulk roller coaster at Islands of Adventure, probably I rode Hagrid's Motorbike Adventure, which is so crazy that it's a virtual queue. It's very similar to Rise of the Resistance. And I got to ride on Velocicoaster, the new Velociraptor themed roller coaster for Jurassic World there too. Hulk is the oldest, and Velocicoaster was so impressive, so smooth, so beautiful. Hagrid's was probably the biggest showcase of what Universal has to offer in terms of like, this is as many things we can do in one attraction, and it's beautiful and it's crazy. I think Hulk might beat him out both. It is an older coaster, but it's solid. It has a great soundtrack. The story is you turn into the Hulk. It's great.
A dream come true for you. It's like Luke turning into the Invisible Man, right, Luke? Is that the dream? So you don't have to. I kid. I love you.
If only Universal had that ride, you know.
Yeah.
I would.
Yeah, or Universal LA. We are going to jump in with the Disney Pivo questions. Since both of you guys are stand-up comedians, actually, you know what? This is the first all stand-up comedian show. Our non-stand-up comic producers are all not here. Well, James is a comedian, but he's also not here. But so this is okay. In honor of us all being comics, what is the funniest Disney animated film?
Ooh, Clone Wars. Probably Clone Wars.
Not obviously not a Disney animated film, but I will accept it because
it's CGI, semi-animated.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna accept it because that's a fantastic answer and also very true and outside the box. And yes, I will accept that.
I would think recency bias. I'm like leaning.
Like, you're not wrong.
What's that?
I think I love all of you.
Oh, we love you too.
Yeah. We love you more than Zoom loves you, unfortunately.
Yeah, Zoom. You know what? Erik, Zoom is, and actually, I'm just gonna say because I have, by the time you're watching this, I have cut out the many times that Zoom has sabotaged this interview. But I'm just gonna say right now, we are one of many shows that have been struggling after the Zoom update, where it's making things laggy and it's not great.
I feel like this podcast is like Disneyland itself, and then you have the Disney fans who are your listeners. And I feel like Michael Eisner right now. All right, I'm getting all the hate, making all the wrong decisions. I'm just trying my best. But every move is wrong and everyone's against me. I apologize. Go Disney Paris. Go Europe.
But you still put out a magical product, you know?
You did. You brought Star Wars to the parks, and you know what? We done good. We love you here. Okay.
Yeah. I could probably introduce you to some people at Zoom, David. I got you, buddy.
Yeah, thank you. Oh yeah, that's right, Danny. Yeah, you are in the tech. Yeah, Danny, put in some calls, okay? Put in some calls.
Yeah, well, I'll see what I can do.
Okay. Before you put in those calls, funniest Disney animated film.
All right. I was going to say recency bias leans me towards Zootopia. I think the banter is great. You got a couple of great jokes in there, but my heart's pulling me towards Emperor's New Groove. I think Kronk, just absolute MVP. You know, there's so many one-liners. You know, I want a little lever system here just so I can constantly pull the wrong lever. You know, it's
Danny, thank you for bringing that up. I actually am surprised because after your brilliant pronunciation lesson on Aladdin, I thought you would have gone Aladdin because I think that's the funniest Disney animated film.
It's up there. Anytime you throw Robin Williams in there as a genie that can morph into things, basically just letting Robin Williams cook, like, of course, what do you expect? But I mean, it's up there in my Mount Rushmore.
I also want to dig in quickly with Erik because since you brought up Kronk, and the jewel of a human that is Patrick Warburton. Everyone on this, all three of us that are here with you today, Erik, we all love Soarin', but there are multiple other people on this show who hate Soarin'. They're not here. And how do you feel about Soarin'? I prefer Soarin' over California to Soarin' around the world, but I love both. What say you, Erik?
I got to ride Soarin' during the pandemic times, during the COVID times, and they didn't have the scents.
Oh no! Oh no!
So what I realized is Soarin' is definitely one of the favorites, but it needs to be the full package. You know what I mean?
Oh, the scent is like the best part.
Give me that orange grove.
Yeah,
that's what makes it Orange Grove. And I really like the Soarin' over California more than Soarin' over the world, but I'm like a born and raised Californian. So something that like reflects my state like that, you can't go wrong. Like it's a me ride.
Well, and I can't remember if we've talked about it on the show, but I love also that with Soarin' over California, it's all actual camera footage, whereas Soarin' around the world, it's all or mostly CGI. So it has just such a more immediate raw feeling. But thank you, Erik, you are exactly right on the smells.
Quick aside, have you guys heard of Wings Over Washington?
No.
Mm-mm.
If you're ever in Seattle, Washington, they have a Northwest themed Soarin' in Seattle, Washington. It's crazy because it's a little more heavily themed. Like there's a story to it. There's a pre-show. There's some animatronics that are actually in it. And just want to give a shout out to good old PNW. Thank you, Northwest, for having it.
Where is that located?
It's great. It's its own independent thing. It's like next to a Ferris wheel. So it's not even like in a theme park. You just like buy a ticket for the ride.
Oh,
Shout out random thing in Seattle. Great.
Next time I'm performing in Seattle, I'm going to that. Thank you, Erik.
Animatronics loses points for no Patrick Warburton. I will say though.
Yeah, I know. We need the flight captain. You need the flight captain. Okay. What about going to Disneyland brings you the most joy?
I think it's the aspect of community. I go to a lot of theme parks by myself when I'm on the road. I love it. I have a great time. But I think nothing is better than when you're with friends or with a date or with your family or even some people you might not know, because you're doing something and you're at a place that's so just naturally, organically fun that you connect with people and you get to talk in line with people and you get to share a churro or a turkey leg with each other, talk about what ride was your favorite. No, let's do that again. Let's do that. And I think that theme parks really create stronger bonds, stronger communities, stronger friendships, stronger relationships, stronger families. And Disney is almost so perfect in their execution of so much stuff that element of it applies to every group of people. I don't think you would get that same communal experience at a Six Flags Magic Mountain. You know what I mean?
Totally
or at a
agree.
Cedar Point. Yeah. But at Disney, I don't care if you're 5 years old or 500 years old, go to a doctor. You're going to get that community.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. That's a great take. That's a fantastic take, Erik, and you're totally right. Danny, beat that one.
I was going to say, by the way, did anybody else think of James Crevison when he said sharing a turkey leg with someone?
Yeah.
James walking around holding that thing out.
One of our co-hosts, he will eat 4 to 6 turkey legs in one day, and I'm not a turkey leg person. Yeah. And Erik's reaction, at least on my video, was slightly frozen. Now you see it. But I believe Erik is with me on finding that horrifying. But yeah.
He needed to like extra hydrate for that take.
Yeah. So Danny, your answer.
Yeah. So mine is, I think, a little bit more tangible. I was thinking not so much the community, but it's still that sort of part of the environment that Disney creates. To me, it's I think the music, which I think is so specific. Like walking down Main Street is such a specific thing. When you hear like the violins and it's all the senses, right? We talked about smelling the orange groves or smelling a churro or, the feeling the mist of Splash Mountain. Like, I mean, it's just all like when you hear the music, to me, immediately it like, we know we're human beings, what music does to us, right? Anytime I hear that music, I'm like, oh, it is on. Like I'm at Disneyland, baby. Like
both of you guys, great takes. You guys are already killing it on the Pivo questions. And on that note on music, I agree. Danny. And it's funny because that's part of why I've gone, during Christmas time to the parks, and it's nice. But part of why I don't always love going during Christmas time is that you just get you get more of the Christmas music, you get less of the movies and the classic stuff. And
the radio coming in.
Yeah, it does diminish it somewhat. Like once I did it once and it was kind of fun to do it once, but in general, also fun fact, one of the original Main Street songs, Married Life, was used in the Pixar movie Up as the main theme. That theme music is the same thing. So there's a little fun fact for you.
First 15 minutes of Up, also in the short running for funniest Disney animated movies out there.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you. And
it's Up, Clone Wars, Schindler's List. I'm pretty sure those are the three funniest Disney films. Schindler's List was definitely, I'm pretty sure, Pixar.
Yeah, that was Pixar. Yeah, that was, yeah. Yeah, so, and actually, Luke, you know what? I don't want you to feel left out. What about going to Disneyland brings you the most joy? Those are two strong. I almost hate to ask you that after those two fantastic answers, but go for it, Luke.
I like anything themed, and they do themed the best. So, I mean, like, I go to Rainforest Cafe because I feel like I'm in the forest. So, Disneyland is where you go to feel like you're in storybook world, and they do it the best, and it's fantastic.
I agree. I sign off on all these answers. Erik, did you have something?
Yeah, to kind of go off both Luke and Danny's points, I feel like I'm a huge fan of like immersive experiences. You know what I mean? Whatever it may be. It could be a like an escape room. There's a thing called Meow Wolf, which I just did in they have one in Vegas, they have one in New Mexico, I think they have one in Colorado, but it's just like a museum, but it's like super immersive. And it's crazy because I think immersion is done really well now because we have the technology for it. But Walt had the foresight to be like, we need to make sure no one can see anything outside of Disneyland when they're in Disneyland. Yeah. You know what I mean? When you're in Square, we don't want trees outside. We want to see one Square. When you're in Tomorrowland, we don't want you to see the hotel outside. And it's so crazy how he had the foresight to be like, we need to immerse people in these worlds through the music, through the sounds, through whatever it may be. And it's crazy to see how that little thing made Disneyland become a thing. And I think really influenced all of like entertainment, especially nowadays. Look at VR. VR is entertainment. And that's like a byproduct of like Disney just being like, oh, I don't want to see the hotel over there.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's great. It's a great take. Now, kind of on the opposite end, what is your least favorite Disney Parks ride?
Oh my Lord. You know what? I know what it is. Finding Nemo Submarine Journey. Screw that. A magical submarine ride. We had like the 7th largest fleet. You thought you were like going in like a Navy person. What did they do? It's a video. It's a video. Dumb. Super dumb. And if I need to take a breath of fresh air really quick.
I completely agree. Although the only counterpoint I will give, just for them not, because I don't think they're gonna like change, like they're either gonna get rid of the whole thing or just kind of change it. But the thing I will say though is the submarine area itself, that body of water and that visual from outside of it, is worth keeping the crappy ride just for that. Yeah, it adds so much to the experience that even though I'll probably never ride the ride again, and it's really a very not good I know, at least I would have rather just had like floating toys in the water than a video or a hologram. Like I really completely agree with you, Erik.
I also just want to say, so I think Disney isn't doing the best they could be, but they are making really good moves in terms of making a lot of their attractions ADA compliant, easier for people with disabilities. But as a former like 310-pound man, you know how annoying it is to get on the submarine ride? You gotta like walk up the stairs and walk down a little thing, and you're sitting next to people, and you don't want to be next to them, you're just breathing COVID air. I hate it. I was so uncomfortable.
I can only.
An unnamed current cast member. I don't know if he made this up or it's what they call it internally with the cast members, but he called it a COVID capsule, which I think was pretty perfect. So, Danny, what is your least favorite Disney Parks ride?
I mean, it's funny because it just talked about loving music, probably the most infamous song of all the Disney rides. And I gotta put it in the negative column. I think my least favorite has to be It's a Small World.
Oh man, you know what?
David, I know you're a big fan, sir. I know. I respect it as an institution. Okay, I'm just saying, it is not. I will say this: it looks wonderful when you go, nighttime, Christmas time. It's all decked out for the holiday season. Love it. Beautiful to look at. Not my cup of tea to ride. I'm sorry.
Wow,
David. I'm personally sorry to you, David.
No, I listen. I understand fully why someone would hate that ride. I just love it. I love, it's Walt wanting the world to come together. Danny, you heartless man, and that's the song. I love me some Sherman Brothers earworm. I don't mind it. Okay.
I used to work on It's a Small World briefly.
Oh, wow.
I have a story about it that kind of relates to the story that I just told about, things being more like plus size friendly, XYZ. The ride was built in the 50s or the 60s. When was it? It was built a long time ago. And back then, people were generally a lot skinnier. You know what I mean? Because in the 50s, 60s, we didn't know about Korean barbecue. All right, straight up. But I remember working on that. If someone was too big to get on the boat, if you were too large to get on the boat, we'd apologize to you and make it up to you by giving you a free meal voucher.
Oh, no.
I don't know if that's really solving the issue, all right? It's like, can I check into this rehab? No, but here's some crack. You know what I mean? It's a very strange situation. I don't mind It's a Small World. I don't hate It's a Small World. There are attractions you have to get on every time. I always want to make sure I can on Indiana Jones. I always want to make sure if I can get on at Cars, Radiator Springs. Big fan of that ride. I like I like Tower, but Guardians. There's just those rides you need to check off the list when you go. Small World is nowhere near that list. If you want to go, let's go. But it's not a must-do, have-to when we're there.
Yeah, it's like a filler between fast passes. If you there's the lines are crazy everywhere else. You know what? It's a 10-minute walk on. Let's do it. I do agree. I don't love it that much that I'm like, I have to do it. But that is hilarious and sad. Okay, if you could go to Vegas with any Disney or Pixar villain, who would it be? And Danny, you are muted, just so you know.
Yep, that is because my oldest is about to take a bath. Can you hear the bath water running?
Nope.
To be fair, knows Danny's my dad. I actually about to take a bath.
Yeah, Erik, hurry up. You're filthy.
I love you, Dad. I love you so much. I'm
Proud of you, son.
I'm pretty sure I might be older than him. I feel like if I were to go to Vegas, you know what? I'm gonna go with she's in a movie, Madame Leota, for two reasons. One, excellent poker face. She's gonna win. Two, I would assume she has some type of psychic capability. You know what I mean? If she can tell when the dice are going, if she can tell if that's a monkey over there, you know what I mean? She might be able to pull a little bit of odds in my favor. So Madame Leota.
Strong.
I like the poker face thought here, right? I mean, I can't not make a Frozen reference. So when I think of a poker face, I think of Hans, you know what I mean? But that's it literally freezes. No, I like that though. See, if it were me, if I were going to bring somebody to Vegas, I would have to think I would want, I'm not a gambler, right? I don't care about a poker face. I'm there to have fun. I want somebody fresh. I want someone flashy. I want someone not afraid to use a little sorcery to make sure things are going well. So I'm talking about my main villain from my main movie, Aladdin. When dude busts out the genie lamp, we're going to turn Vegas upside down. I'm twirling mustaches and enchanting audiences with my guy, Jafar. Yeah, that is my guy. I got excited with that question, David.
That's strong. No, that's strong.
Oh, just quick clarification. Would you go Jafar, just Jafar, or Jafar Iago? Because they can kind of come in a combo pack.
You know, if you'll grant me the combo pack, yeah, give me that sweet little parrot.
If I can do Jafar, Gilbert Gottfried, give me the combo. I don't know if I want Iago, but I do want to hang out with Gilbert Gottfried in Vegas.
There you go. There you
I
go.
love it.
That won't get old at all.
Yeah. And then finally, this is on a more serious and earnest note. What gives you purpose?
I would say the thing that motivates me the most is I think one of the reasons why a lot of comics and just a lot of people in general like Disney is there's so much you're surrounded by so much positive energy. There's so much joy. Like, I think it's a selfish job being a comic, because honestly, you're doing it for you. When you kill that crowd, when you get a big standing ovation, when you get that applause break, oh, it feels so great. It feels amazing. And I think there's a little bit of that when you go to a Disney park or when you go to a theme park, because it's not like you're the DMV where everyone's sad. It's not like you're at work where everyone's like grunty. Like, you're literally escaping all the annoyance and in life, be around people and having a good time. And I firmly believe when you're around good energy, then you feel that good energy and you put that out back into the world. And I think that really gives me purpose. I think it really gives me purpose to not only live a life where I'm happy and make those choices to make sure I can give off that good energy, but to see people laugh, to see people happy, to see people not stressed out. That's something that I want to feed towards in everyday life, whether that's me at work, whether that's me at a restaurant, whether that's me on stage and seeing those, tangible laughs and feeling that tangible laughter, people being happy. I feel like just rolling with that is my purpose.
Beautiful. Beautiful. And Danny?
Yeah, I mean, it's actually a somewhat similar answer. I mean, we're comics, right? We do this to make people laugh, and even when we're not on stage, we're probably still trying to make people laugh. In my mind, I find purpose with, I think, helping people. I volunteer with an organization called Okaizu. I'm a camp counselor for kids who have been affected by childhood cancer, whether it's the patients themselves or their siblings. And it's just like being goofy with them, and not like goofy, but like, lower G, goofy. But like seeing them laugh, right? And like kind of what Erik was saying earlier, like people that don't really come from like easy homes, right? Teenagers show up, they got their walls built up, and to kind of have them break those walls down and like start to kind of laugh and sing and, like, hey, if this guy's making an idiot out of himself, like, it's all right to kind of laugh at yourself a little bit, and they start to kind of do it and they get comfortable in their own skin, and seeing them, kind of be role models to younger kids and all that. I mean, it's everything. So yeah, I mean, I'm with you there, Erik, for sure.
Beautiful. Luke, do you have anything before I ask a final question of Erik?
This has been fun. This has been a lot of fun. I've enjoyed my time immensely with these wonderful people.
Yeah, beautiful.
I love you a lot, but can you tone your energy down just a bit?
I'll try. It's a problem. It is
dominating. Yeah, no, it's a lot. I apologize, Erik. We'll have a production meeting afterwards, and we'll talk about just the power. So Erik, do you have any upcoming shows you'd like to plug? Do you have any social media stuff you want to plug? Do you have anything at all you want to plug? Fire away.
So if you want to learn more about what I'm up to, where I'm going to be doing shows, I think Instagram is the big catch-all. Instagram.com/Erik Escobar, Erik with a K, or at Erik Escobar. I don't know why I gave the URL. Should have just said the handle. URL works. That's fine. But yeah, on my Instagram, some of my upcoming shows. After next week, I'm going to be in Oregon. I'm going to be in the Bay Area. I have some shows in DC on the East Coast, Royal Oak, Michigan. So yeah, I'm pretty much bouncing around. Things aren't stopping. Knock on wood, but definitely be safe out there. check out a show when you can if I'm in your area. And if not in your area, something I would like to push is my TED Talk. I just did a TED Talk, released it a couple months ago. If you just look up Erik Escobar TED Talk, you can find it there. But yeah, if I'm not on the road or if I'm not doing the TED Talk thing, I'm probably at Universal Studios, Disneyland, or California Adventure. So if you're over there, just hit me up and you will probably find me at the churro stand or eating lobster nachos.
Beautiful. Well, Erik, thank you. You've been an incredible guest. Just in awe of your Disney prowess, your comedic prowess. So thank you so much. Thank you, Danny, for bringing the heat. Thank you, Luke, for being a little bit overboard. And I totally agree with Erik. And it's uncomfortable, the amount of yelling and aggressiveness. But still, we love you, Luke, your beautiful smile. And it was just great to be, to see two best friends, Luke and Erik, reunited. It was an honor. This has been another episode of the Unofficial Disney Tonight Show. Follow us on, I guess you say follow now on the podcast apps. They've changed it now, but we're on all of them: Apple, Google, Spotify, iHeart. There's 4,000 podcast apps. Follow us on every single one of them, and subscribe on YouTube. Leave a comment with how amazing Erik and Danny's beards are. That's all we will. No, you can comment anything, but please. That is, both of you are bringing some hot fire on the chin. So thank you for that. We will, we'll keep you posted with more stuff, but man, Erik Escobar, just killing it. Round of applause.
Oh, you guys had a great time. I've always wanted to be on a podcast where they compliment my prowess. So
awesome. Thank you guys. Until next time, we are the Unofficial Disney Tonight Show. See you soon.